How did you feel when you saw the results come in?
Happy and sad. For a variety of different reasons. Mostly happy because Clinton's not getting in the White House, but sad at the same time because Trump's getting in the White House.
I live in California, so we're mostly a Democratic state. So I guess I'm not that happy about Trump being president, but hopefully he won't be as bad as most people make it out to be, and he'll be like a fair president to everyone.
My reaction is I'm just really sad right now, and my heart's really heavy at how our country let hate win anyway. I know a lot of my friends and people I'm close to, they're scared right now. I'm just really sad, and I don't know what to do.
I was proud to be an American, and I'm very excited to see the change that Donald Trump is willing to bring to the table and see what he goes through with, what he doesn't go through with, and if we're going to make America great again.
I was very disappointed. I am very disappointed. It was definitely very unexpected. Since he announced that he would run for president, I don't think anyone took him seriously. So it was very unexpected for him to get this far, and it's hard to realize that this is the reality that he is actually our president.
Well, I actually kind of expected it, especially with Brexit and things like that. I thought this was going to be a well-thought race, and it turned out that Trump actually did win and did go against what a lot of other people predicted.
Well, I thought Clinton was going to win in a landslide because all the polls, every result was Trump had a 30%, I think it was 30% way of actually winning. He had a 30% chance of winning, and Clinton had a 70% chance overall up until the day of the election. This was even broadcasted by Fox News, which, as we all know, is very conservative. And I did not expect him to get as much as I figured. It might have been close, but I didn't think it would be that much of a landslide in terms of for Trump.
Honestly, I'm just very disappointed. I'm upset, and I feel like I should have expected it based on, I guess, from the statistics that I knew were going on, but I feel like we live in a very liberal area, and because of that, our media perception might have been a lot more skewed to have more liberal views. But in all honesty, I just feel like I should have expected it, but I didn't, and it came as a total shock and a surprise. And after all of it, I just feel very disappointed right now to be an American. I feel a lot of shame.
I was very surprised, as it was predicted that Hillary Clinton would win by several points, but it turned out Donald Trump had won by a wide margin. And I was kind of shocked that the country had decided to elect Donald Trump, even though it seemed that Trump was too much of a wild card to ever be elected as president.
Honestly, I was sort of surprised, but then it also kind of makes you realize that in the Bay Area we're kind of a minority, and that a lot of Americans actually want Trump. So it's I'm not sure if it's exactly a racism, sex, and bigotry issue. It's more of a maybe that Trump provides job stability and political reform that a lot of people are frustrated with. So I think it just kind of reflects how frustrated American people are in general.
I mean, I thought Hillary would win because all the polls said so, but all the polls are wrong. Well, let's question it.
I definitely, didn't think that Donald Trump would win. I was pretty sure that Clinton's analysts had their victory pretty much locked up. They were pretty certain that Clinton was going to win. So it was pretty surprising that Donald Trump did win.
Well, the Bay Area is going to be pretty upset about it, and as long as Trump doesn't do anything too drastic, like discrimination against different communities that he seems to want to do, I think the Bay Area will be pretty fine for the next 4 years.
I think this means we need to stay here and stand up for the people who are not going to be able to stand up for themselves, and speak up for the people whose voices are going to be being silenced during this time. And we need to respond to any hate that's been in this election. We need to respond to it all in love, because that's the only way that we can overcome hate is with love. And so we need to keep on working to make our community stronger and helping each other.
I feel like we are very blessed to live in an environment with, I guess, a lot of people that are very liberal and a lot of people that are a lot more accepting than the majority of the United States. But I do feel like Trump's campaign, regardless, has affected us in this area. Probably not as much as like other places in the United States, but like quite recently there has been greater accounts of like bullying. There have been a lot more racial slurs been passed around, sexual harassment, just a lot more violence. This could potentially have something to do with Trump's campaign and whatnot. And I know a lot of people in the LGBTQ community feel very unsafe right now. There are a lot of Muslims that feel very unsafe, and I know that our school is going to try and make our campus as safe as possible, and I'm really blessed to live in such an area, but definitely I feel like nationwide it's going to be different.
There's several national policies that could impact the Bay Area, such as Trump's supposed repeal of Obamacare and many other policies such as taxes, etc., that could impact Bay Area greatly.
The results of the election specifically, it means that, well, first off, either candidate had to have played Lincoln in this, because Lincoln came into office as one of the most hated presidents of his time because he wanted to free all the slaves, and of course the South didn't like that. And he had to come in and unite a country that hated him to the point of him actually getting assassinated. And whether it was Clinton or Trump that got into the White House, they would have come in as the most hated candidate we'd ever seen, and they would have had to unite a country that either one half hates them or the other half hates them. And looking at what it means for the country now, it just comes down to healing. So it depends on which one, or Trump at the moment, if he can actually bridge that gap and heal this country back to what it was. As for the whole of America, because I think the biggest thing that I looked at was he isn't in politics. This would be he's not in politics, and because he's not in politics and he's basically a civilian, if he does a good job as president, this would mean there's going to be a lot more of him. There will be way more civilians in politics.
It's definitely gonna shake the party's values, both parties' values, quite significantly, and we're probably gonna have to take a harder look at our election system and the electoral process, and electoral college.
The rest of the world is pretty shocked by this news, as they thought Hillary would win. Hopefully he'll develop good relationships with other countries.
I think that since America is a major political power, America is an important country, this is going to impact foreign relations, because Trump has a strong foreign policy. He wants to pull out of Syria and whatnot, and also it's also going to set a precedent for other countries. They're gonna see that alt-right leaders like Trump can be elected into power in a democracy like America, and that might set a precedent for other countries. They're going to look at the U.S. for guidance. And, yeah.
The results mean that America as a whole is shifting its views, definitely. I feel like this is probably the last race the conservatives will ever win, simply because as cities grow and as kids are taught that conservatives are horrible and that they're bad, and as people are taught that, oh yeah, free college isn't a great idea, even though we don't know how to pay for it, that they won't be able to sustain themselves. A big part of the conservative base is very little young people and a lot of older people who are starting, of course, to die away. And we have the more liberal bases starting to rise up because they are the younger people who are coming up. So I think that in terms of that, this might be the conservatives' last president.
I'd just like to encourage people during this time who are walking in fear. It's gonna get better. For people who their hearts are heavy right now, like my own, it's gonna get better. we're all going to be supporting each other. It's going to get better.
I can honestly say that I was very heartbroken in the way that people reacted to it, because it's kind of like the whole judging a book by its cover. He hasn't done anything yet as president, so I don't think that people have the right to attack the supporters or attack him directly.
I think it's very important for us to keep on fighting for the things that we have been fighting for all the progress that minority groups and LGBT and all of these groups have been making. Don't let that go in vain. And like, if we stay together and we work hard for it, like, and we can make all these things happen, and like keep on fighting for what you want, and don't let this affect you, and just keep on fighting.